Greetings, Internet Drinking Buddies. My name is Link, the show's name is Tubbin' and Chuggin', and on this episode we'll be continuing our adventure into well spirits, this time with a gin by Kirkland. We'll be imbibing their London Dry Gin. Welcome back to the tub, everybody. Today we're going to be continuing our mini-series on well spirits, this time looking at a gin, and this one is from Costco's Kirkland brand. So this also gives me the opportunity to hopefully clear up some misconceptions about what Costco does with their Kirkland brand and what the products are, how they become, all that kind of stuff. So with that, let's get to some info about Kirkland brand. So best I can tell from the internet, 2007 is around the time Costco began introducing their spirit lines from their Kirkland brand products. So this feels like a good time to talk about what Kirkland brand is. You might have heard somebody tell you that, oh man, the Costco French vodka, it's just Grey Goose, man, but like, it's way cheaper. Well, just like that's not really true, this isn't Bombay Sapphire Gin either. It may kind of look similar based upon the bottle, it may have similar sourcing techniques, and it is a white label to some extent, but it's not like they're just going into the same factory, slapping a Kirkland label on it and calling it a day. The Grey Goose, for example, it's sourced in a French factory, but it's not the same well that Grey Goose uses or anything like that. Costco just does a fairly decent job of getting a regional popularity of something, matching it and selling it for cheaper due to their membership. And speaking of the membership, you don't actually need a membership at Costco to go and buy one of these things, at least in most states. I'll list them here. So yeah, if you don't have a membership to Costco, it's not like you can't go buy this product. You can just go to the door, tell them you're buying alcohol, go to the checkout, just have alcohol, and you'll be able to get in and out just fine. Back to the product itself, what is it? Well, it is a 44% or 88 proof gin. It's gonna run you somewhere between $17 and $18 a handle, depending on the store, location, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a decent enough price for a handle of gin. What you're gonna see and why this makes it a little bit more different than like a Bombay Sapphire is it has a little bit more citrusy notes, which, as I'll talk about in a little bit, kind of distills the idea of a London Dry Gin, but for the most part, it keeps that kind of look and taste profile compared to what you would see from that. Now, with the prior spirits we've done on this kind of mini playlist, if you will, I've recommended it, for mixing, or if you want to do it as a shot, just as a cheap thing. This one I do actually recommend for sipping. It might just be because I like gin, but I do think that the price to performance overall flavor profile on this guy is quite good. So before we go ahead and have some of it in shot form, we need to talk about what gin is so we have a baseline to compare it to. So the primary fermented aspect of the gin is the juniper berries, which is actually, it's not a berry, it's a cone that kind of looks like a berry. It has the name berry. Botany is weird. I don't make the rules on this kind of stuff. Well, what's even weirder is that in French, juniper is pronounced Genevieve, from which you get gin, from which we get gin. It's the RG GIF thing all over again. That's where the name comes from. I'd best define gin's kind of like overall taste profile as like a minty citrus blend. It's not like sweet like a citrus, like a rum would be. It's not really a mint either, but it's a little bit more like green citrus, if that makes any sense. It's one of those things that like people call it Christmas tree, and I'm like, okay, I don't eat many Christmas trees, but I guess I know what you're talking about, and that's kind of what gin tastes like, so I think it's a fair comparison. This particular gin that we have today is the London Dry Gin style, which I mentioned earlier. There are other styles of gin, like Genever, Old Tom, Plymouth, but just for the nature of this review, because what you're typically going to be able to pick up on the store, whether it's Bombay Sapphire, whether it's Kirkland brand, whether it's Gordon's, what have you, they're all mainly in the London Dry style, which is to say that, all of its flavoring comes from the botanicals that are inside of it. There are no like added flavors to it, although, as I mentioned, this one does have a little bit of added citrus to it, but for the most part, it's not going to change the flavor profile of London Dry compared to some of those other types. So now that we have a baseline from which to compare it to, we have a shot poured, all we need is a toast. It's a British alcohol overall, London shot glass. Let's keep it simple. Cheers. Yeah. Okay. So, juniper berry. What does that taste like? The more I've heard Christmas tree, the more I just have to keep coming back to it. Whether it's the scent to taste transformation that just mint and citrus at the same time. It's neither mint nor citrus. It's somewhere in between those two, and it doesn't have this warming effect like a good whiskey will have. It doesn't have like a cooling effect. It's just kind of this like peaceful flow going down your throat. I love gin so much, and I can't really explain it to people who think it tastes terrible, because they tell me all the things that it tastes like to them, and I'm like, yeah, that's excellent. So I don't really know what more to go from there, you know? Like, one of the first shots I ever did with somebody was a gin shot, and I was like, that's delicious, and everybody else is dying, and I'm like, I don't know, man, tastes pretty good to me. Like, that's one of the reasons why for a gin, you know, we talk about in the earlier ones, right, that burning sensation that goes down. It's not particularly inaccurate to say it has a burn sensation to it. It's not overwhelming by any sense of the imagination, but it is there. I've had a couple like very high-end gins before, like even a Hendrix or something, which isn't like super top shelf, but it is definitely not going to be a well drink, and that will have less of the burning and more of just the overall citrusy taste, mint citrusy taste. But I think with this one in particular, and maybe it's just because I like gin and I might not be able to be overcoming my bias on this one, but I don't think that the burn has a real effect on it. Somebody that really, really likes rum probably thought that the Bacardi Superior we had enough of the rum taste that they didn't care about the burn. That's what I feel with this one. You know, the burn that's there is completely counteracted by how good the rest of the drink tastes. So, if you're looking for a gin to get into and you have a Costco near you, I highly recommend trying this one out. This is going to be, obviously it's a handle, so you know it's not going to be easy to get through on your own, but give it a shot. I think that you'll find that whether you like gin or don't like gin, there's enough kind of various cocktails you can make with it that's going to make it good enough that I think that the handle investment is worth it. And if you do end up liking it, the price to performance on it really just can't be beat. So, total thumbs up on this one. This is basically my favorite well spirit. It's why I keep coming back to gin overall. With the other vodkas, the rums that we've had on this show before, like, they'll get the job done, but like I only buy them because I'm cheap, you know? With this one, I buy it because I think it tastes good. But hopefully that gives you just an overall understanding of what gin is, gives you a good example of what gin to find if you can. If you don't have a Costco near you, Bombay Sapphire is maybe a little bit too expensive. Give Gordon's a try. It's not as good, obviously, but it's a little bit cheaper and it's more widely available. So, with all that said, as always, if you want to know more about like various spirits, you want me to continue this series in some fashion, let me know which types of spirits or alcohols you'd like me to review. And as always, please drink responsibly.